If you change the system, nobody will be poor people. So instead of concentrating on that, you talk about what the poverty policy would be, how to give money to them so that they can take care of. They don't need your money to give away.
Sawadee ka. This is such an honor for me and TNN Thai News Network to be given the chance to interview Professor Yunus. And this interview will divide the interview into 4 parts, starting from your personal journey and then the future of Bangladesh under your leadership. And of course, we are here at BIMSTEC, so we need to talk about BIMSTEC somehow. And at the end, about your legacy for this world. So let's start with the first part. Since you are worldwide well known for the father of microfinance, which has transformed millions' lives in your country and probably around the world, because the Grameen Bank has been a model for many countries. When you launched this initiative at that time, did you expect this level of global impact?
No, not at all. I was trying to solve a very local problem in one village next to the university where I teach. So I was trying to see if it makes any dent, it makes any impact in people's life. So I was not even talking to anybody else. I was just focusing on doing this. But when it worked, I started explaining to people why is it important. Then the trouble began. They said, this is crazy, this is not banking, you shouldn't call yourself a bank, or this is a part of banking. The more they accused that it's not a bank, more they dismissed it, the more I became more strong in insisting that this is the path, this is the way to do it. The poverty, one of the issues that I raised repeatedly, poverty is not created by poor people. Poverty is created by the system we built.
Right.
So it's coming from the system. So don't blame the people for their poverty. Blame yourself who created this system. If you change the system, nobody will be poor people. So instead of concentrating on that, you talk about what the poverty policy would be, how to give money to them so that they can take care of. They don't need your money to give away. They need their rights. What are the rights? You give services to other people. You don't give the services to them. So those are the issues that I started, and then it became a big controversy, big debate. I continued, and I answered their question by creating things, showing that, look, you go and find out whether it's real or fake.
And what are the challenges, and how could we address it?
First of all, look at all the international financial organizations. They have so many things they do. But you don't hear that the microcredit or credit for the poor people, particularly poor women. This is where you're focusing on, to demonstrate the women who are discarded as no role to play in changing life of the family. I said, they are the key. Why don't you address them? The whole family will change. But after all these years of demonstrations after demonstrations, mainstream financial system don't change. Government doesn't change their policies. Do not create institutions to do that. Suppose you don't do the Grameen type program, but you have to if you don't like it, create alternative that you like. But you have to do it. Just walking away is not a solution.
So, and it's like this everywhere, not just only in Bangladesh.
Oh, whole world. Whole world. Same way. Only few people, few nations have adopted it.
Is there any nations that adopt this idea and they did it very well?
This is done widely in Africa, many countries. And I mentioned about USA. USA is important because they don't pay any attention whatsoever. They have their welfare programs if you are a citizen. If you are immigrants, they have no responsibility. You make it. So we created this addressing the immigrants. Many of them don't have any identity. They don't have any documents for their existence. So this is extremely risky, but we go there, do it, and everybody perform very well. It's expanding. So again, after many years of this work in the USA, still it's only one program. Others are not doing it because it doesn't come into your policy book. Policy book taught in your institutions, in academics, wherever you're getting big degrees, they don't include it. They just have if they mention this, it's a footnote, not in the mainstream discussions and the policy packages, what is to be done. So that's where still it's not a kind of rising program.
And let's talk about your book, A World of Three Zeros, Ambition Zero Poverty, Zero Unemployment, and Zero Net Carbon Emissions. So until now, how close do you think we are to achieving this vision?
In an isolated way, we talk about it. We talk about carbon emission. We talk about zero carbon emission and see what needs to be done. So what I'm doing is put them all three major factors: carbon emission, wealth concentration. You don't hear about wealth concentration very much. You hear about carbon emission, but not the wealth concentration. But it's going in a faster and faster way because rich people are involved with it. If you have wealth, you have the power. If you control wealth, you control the power. So your power kind of makes sure your position is not being discussed. Keep it out. So that way, it's not coming in the television, it doesn't come into media, it doesn't come into policy making and so on. So it stays. As if it is something natural. If you're rich, you become richer tomorrow. If you're richer, you become super rich thereafter. It's not natural. We designed the thing in the wrong way. Wealth should not be reaching to the top. It should be the other way. Wealth should be reaching to the bottom so that bottom is changed. Reverse the gear. Nobody wants to reverse the gear.
Yeah, that seems to be very difficult to reverse.
It's not difficult. Nothing is difficult once you get to it. Microcredit used to be thought is very difficult. How can you give money to somebody without any collateral and expect the money to come back? That's the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I said, I cannot argue with you, but I can show you it happens. I cannot give you instructions why it happens, psychology of it, culture of it. I have no idea. But I do it and money comes back. Even the United States, where people don't know each other. In villages of Bangladesh, they know each other. So if you're not paying, I'm with you, and I'll say, no, you have to pay back. I have a kind of a cultural connection with you. They don't have it. One person who is coming from Guatemala, another person coming from Colombia, another person coming from Vietnam or whatever. They're very different people. But they form together and do it independently, and it still works. We're not talking about a small group of people, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of people. And in the diverse places. You must say, this place is good, that's why they do it. You go to other places, they will not do it. There's all kinds of places, also crazy places, where violence is there, crime is there, but your money comes back.
All right. And since you are the first Bangladeshi Nobel laureate, what does this recognition mean to you and to Bangladesh as a nation?
A Nobel Prize is always respected globally. So with that, whoever receives it, everybody respects you because they give you this honor. They know that they have gone through lots of screening process, finally decided to give it to you, so people accept it. So that brings a lot of attention as an individual. And it also brings honor to the country who got it. And people say that, well, we have 2 Nobel laureates, 5 Nobel laureates. There's a pride that this is somebody who distinguished himself or herself to go to the top. So it's an honor, it's a respect, and you want to know why were they selected? What did they do? So young people are curious to know. They study in school. They will say, I want to do something like this. So it inspires people.
Yes.
So this is important in that way. This is very inspiring experience, whatever he has done. And it's a strict kind of selection procedure that you must have spent lots of time to make sure he is worth or she is worth that prize. And that's why it's respected globally.
Yes, and of course it makes people know more about your country.
Yes, in your country, and also the idea that you're promoting,
Yes,
what you have done.
And how do you see your role evolving beyond the interim period? And what legacy do you want to give to the Bangladesh people, for their future?
Well, one is what I have been doing, struggling to do, trying to convince people during my lifetime, whatever I have could reach. Probably I'm aiming at here, but I have to come up to here. So there's some space to cover. So next generation comes, okay, we'll take you there. So this is one that you feel that somebody will pick it up. Along it, you want to improve it. If I'm doing it, probably I'm the version 0. It works, but not efficient. So somebody takes a version 1, somebody takes a version 2, 3, 4, 5. Suddenly you see it's so easy. So people will definitely go on improving that mechanism and whatever way to do that. And somebody is not only focusing on what you have done, gets into bigger perspective. It's not limited to finance, it's spread into many other dimensions. So it glues it and becomes very comprehensive. So all these things possible. So you triggered it, but you didn't go all the way. You didn't have time to go to all the way. Or you didn't have been thinking in that direction. But somebody took that idea, made it fly.
And now we are not facing only the domestic challenges. We are living in the very complex world, geopolitical landscape right now. And how will you navigate, your country through this complexity? How would you maintain the relationship between the world power like the United States, China, and India?
Well, one thing talk about my country. Another thing about what needs to be done at this stage, I would rather go into that. I would say that we have to create, I was arguing that we have to create a new culture, we have to new civilization. So the basic thing that we have founded the civilization has to be addressed. Those foundations have to be challenged. And I was mentioning that this civilization is based in principle on the basis of the greed. The greed is the one who drives you. I want to make more money, more money. And people assume that that's the only power you got. People have the greed, and greed kind of drives the ambition and want to make whatever they do. So we have to keep it that way. I said, no, greed is not the one. Social consciousness may be much more powerful. When I say creating social business, people say, look, it doesn't work because you have to have the profit motive inside the person to drive him crazy to make more money. If you take it away, there's nothing left. Why should I work hard if I'm not making money? Making money is such an intoxicating experience that you want to pursue that. I said, that's completely wrong. Making money may give you happiness that I'm accomplishing something. So making money is a happiness in some estimate. But making other people happy is a super happiness. And people say, no, that's not true. I said, why do you say that it's not true? Because I never heard of anybody becoming super happy by making other people happy. I said, because you have never done that. If you do it, only you'll figure it out. And you'll make a choice whether you want to make yourself happy by making money, or you want to make yourself happy by making other people happy. I said, making other people happy is much more superior happiness than the happiness that you can get by making money, because it has a limit. This doesn't have a limit. You can go on and on and on. So that's the way. We have to explore the boundaries of happiness, what happiness is all about. Is this the only happiness that we can get? Or there are many other chances of happiness. I said, the economists who designed the whole framework of economics, they assume the selfishness is the core, which drives human being.
Okay.
I want to be selfish, I want to grab, I want to get more, and that it drives the machine. I said, there is another aspect of human being. Economists never pay attention to. And I think that's stronger than selfishness. And what is that? I said selflessness. Selflessness is much more strong than the selfishness. How come? I said, because you are touching people's lives. If you change people's life, you change the world. This is much more exciting experience in your lifetime that you have done that than making tons and tons and tons of money and then that finish. And you did it only for yourself. Who cares? But you touch people's life. They don't forget what you have done. So that's much more interesting, much more attractive. All you have to do, check it out. Try both. See which one make you super happy.
So do you mean, this addressed directly to the politicians, the people who hold the power, that they need to have the political will?
It could be part of politics to encourage, facilitate, and so on. If you're driving people's attitude and building up future generations, what are the messages that you bring? This could be a message, could be brought to the young people. So you have to address the education system. That's only the channel through which you reach out to young people. So it has to be integrated into the education system. You'll be discuss the two kinds of business. You'll be studying in your classroom. There are two things, selfishness and selflessness. And if you're selfish, this is what you do. If you're selfless, this is what you do. And we'll be asking the class, which one do you like? You don't have to prefer one or the other. You can mix it too. You do selfish things, you also do selfless things, because you have both. And then the question is, how much of selfishness, how much of selflessness? How do you decide? So there'll be some guidelines and principles, what you do, but ultimately it's your decision. Nobody can force you to do this or that. What you like, you're a free person, you're a creative person, you can do you can go any direction you want. So those are the things has to be brought to the young person, so that you design what is the purpose of my life. And that's a core question.
Okay. The next question, I'm not sure whether it's about selflessness or selfishness. But this morning, Asian people, we woke up with the news, the big news, the new tariff announced by the President of the United States. And Bangladesh is supposed to be hit by 30% increase of tax, tariff, as well as Thailand. So how do you plan to address this?
We just heard it. Now we have to sit down and understand the impact of it. Is it a bad thing? It's a good thing. If it is there, you cannot change it because it's something done by one country. And you have to deal with it. You have to work with it. So how to minimize the negative aspect of it? How to maximize the positive aspect of it? Can you turn the whole thing in a positive way? This is still in the making. It's not final. It's kind of a framework given. So I'm sure we have to work through, because we have to carry on with our life. We have to make sure that suddenly all our business with the United States doesn't close down. That's not the intention of it. Maybe we can find a way to make it better. Who knows? It's a question of negotiation. Negotiate how to make sure that they benefit and we benefit too.
And since Bangladesh is also the founding member of BIMSTEC, do you think that because we are now during the BIMSTEC summit and many founding members were hit by the tariff as well, do you think that we will talk about this issue at the summit tomorrow?
It's not on our agenda. I don't think we have a session devoted to it. But definitely as individual country, we'll be discussing, we'll be thinking about it, designing about it, but we'll collaborate with each other, what we gain from it, how to make sure whether we can make a strategy for the whole BIMSTEC, a strategy for that. But each country's economy is different. So I don't know how much of the commonness will come into it. So each one is trying to protect their own economy, have the best solutions out of it as best as they can. But we can learn from each other. It doesn't have to be exact, but we can share how we did it and so on. Though BIMSTEC provides that facility to do that.
Apart from this issue, what could be the agenda that the BIMSTEC would like to push ahead or focus on for the upcoming decade?
First thing I'll put is the young people. That should be in the top, that the young people from BIMSTEC countries will explore together how to build a new world.
Okay.
What will be the features of this new world? There can be a competition among the young people to design the world of year 3000. Design it. It's an imagination, but imagine things. So you see that hundreds and thousands of young people participate in this debate, in this designing, and you declare these 10 at the top and see what they have thought. This is something young people thought. This is their world. Maybe these are very exciting things they have to figure it out because their minds are so creative and they came up with very creative ideas how to have that happen. So this is one. I'm saying you inspire young people to take charge of the world, and they are very creative and they have the technology in their command because these young people not only creative by themselves, but this is supported by enormously powerful technology. So their ideas and things can be implemented very fast, reach out to millions of people right overnight. So how to make that happen? So encourage them. So bring creativity of the young people, both boys and girls, to share and create a new world together.
And this will be the last question because your team said, okay, running out of time. So looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently in your life journey, and what would you leave behind for us, for the future?
I didn't think that I should have done differently. I said I'm lucky that I didn't stop. I continued. I had barriers. I tried to overcome the barrier. If I couldn't overcome the barrier, I turn around and go around it. But I've found a way to go forward. And along the way, I came out to many things that I thought was very, very useful to people. And I challenged many things, found solutions for many things. And next generation and others will improve it further. Because if you create something, you have a scope for developing it further and go beyond what you have done. So I'm hoping that young people will, if they are excited about what I've been saying, what I'm doing, they will take it over and make sure we create the world that we imagine. The world of our imagination, world of our dreams will come true.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Your
you.
Excellency. And I truly believe that this interview will inspire many more millions of people who watch this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I
ขอบคุณ
hope
ค่ะ
within BIMSTEC we can promote this idea
Right.
and bring young people together to
Yes.
take charge of this planet.
Yes.